Ready for round 3? Let's go! Please be advised that there are spoilers ahead related to the property being watched and/or discussed in this video. And please note, this reaction does not contain a picture-in-picture view with the audio from the episode. Instead, this video is designed as a watch-along style. Click on the link displayed on your screen to find out about 3 easy ways to watch this episode with me using your own devices. Hello! Welcome back to my channel, everyone. This is Asha Media TV. If you're new here, welcome, welcome, welcome. This is where I like to watch, react, and review a variety of stuff related to sci-fi, fantasy, and comic books. So in today's video, I'm going to be watching and reacting and somewhat reviewing episode 3 of Apple TV's Foundation series, titled The Mathematician's Ghost. Okay, so I am now going to get ready to press play on episode 3. And if you watched my reaction to episode 2, I had said that I'm going to need a break in between my binge watching process here. Because yes, I've been binge watching episodes 1 and 2 and, well, coming 3 now. And I had said at the end of episode 2 that I need a breather to watch a breakdown video or 2 about both episodes because it was a lot of information and I was getting really confused and I didn't want to bring too much of that confusion unnecessarily into my experience watching episode 3. So I went on over to my favorite 2 channels right now that I am using as references for these episodes, and that is Quinn's Ideas and Pete Pepper's channel, and I watched their reviews of both episodes. And links to those videos are in the description box below if you're interested in checking them out. So now that I have a better idea as to who's who, what's what, especially when it comes to Gaal and Harry and Rach and what happened in episode 2 with all of that stuff, I feel a little bit more prepared to now dive into, I'm hoping, new territory, new details that reveals what happened in episode 2. So if you are going to watch along with me, let's get ready to count down to play. If not, of course, feel free to skip on over to the review/takeaways portion of this video, and I'll see you then. But I'm off to watch episode 3 right now. Okay, so I've skipped the commercial that comes on, but I don't like skipping the previously on because for me it actually is helpful. All right, so I'm starting at 049, and I'm going to count down to play right now. Let's start. Starting at 3, 2, 1, play. I won't skip the intro because I like it. It's visually nice, and sometimes if I have some commentary to say, this is the time I'll say it. The one thing I find so fascinating in the reviews that I've watched from Pete Pepper's channel and Quinn's Ideas channel, well, mainly from Quinn's Ideas. If you go check out his review of the first 2 episodes, he doesn't shy away from expressing some of the stuff I was actually saying while I was watching the first 2 episodes. Like, for instance, so many visible references that we've seen before in Star Wars and Dune. But I had also said when I was watching episode 1 that it's kind of unfortunate in a sense that those 2 properties, Dune and Star Wars, came out visually for us to watch before they were able to adapt Asimov's books. So, you know, we could say, oh, it's very similar to those properties, but essentially those properties, you know, were inspired by Asimov's books. So it's interesting the challenge they must have had to say, okay, well, if we put this on screen, it's going to remind people of Star Wars and stuff, right? Anyways, It's just interesting. Oh my god, 400 years earlier! That answers the question I was asking about Demerzel. Cleon the First. She's been there since the beginning? Hmm. Oh, so this really is like the beginning of the clone dynasty thing. She watched over all of it. Ah. In its beginning stages. Did they have like a love affair or something? Or? 19 years. Love affair is a little too much. Sorry, that was too exaggerative. I meant like there was obviously feelings on her part as an android, or simulated feelings, I guess. Ah. So I wonder if any of their clones ever gone rogue, you know? Or were they all perfect subjects? Or not even gone rogue, but did they have unnatural outcomes, you know? Nervous much? Is ascension? So passing over the throne is a ascension process? Huh. Man, it makes you wonder of the conversations that went on during ancient Rome, ancient Greece, ancient Egypt, ancient everything. Every empire thinks it will last forever. So interesting. I got mixed up for a second at the time frame we're at. It didn't. Anyways, it's clear now. We're in present day. Look at Day and Dusk there. As actors, you gotta coordinate your movements there. So this is an episode focused on this Cleon dynasty. That's good, because I'm so curious about everything with it. Specifically Demerzel. It's neat to know this is an android that's been alive for this long. Makes me wonder, what's the shelf life for her kind? Or is there one? Demerzel's all teary-eyed. So, is that an indication they can actually feel human emotion? Or what they believe was human emotion? Honestly, I'm so happy to stumbled on a show where if I press mute, I'll be still fine watching it visually. It's always nice. Where is it going? Trying to get a midnight snack? It's going downstairs somewhere. She's singing? What is it? Oh. I did wonder about that. If memories pass on? Or some aspect of it? And to think right now, our 1% are trying to create this for themselves. The desires of mankind, huh? Huh? He's gonna paint his own thing with very little lighting. His eyes are still good, I guess. She's pretty much like the dynasty's babysitter, essentially. Hmm. Aww. Oh, wow, that's so nice. This, her grappling with their mortality as she's immortal, from what I gather. Ascension Day, whatever that means. So he's like Cleon Prime. So there's nothing to their genetics they've been able to kind of modify to make the next somewhat better or more improved. Kid's like, cool. It's like their brother and father all in one. Father, Son, and the Holy Ghost. I don't know what the Holy Ghost would be in this case. Science. Is he going to die? So, him saying that, does that imply he had a sensitivity very similar to Gaal? That's what she's programmed for? Wow. They couldn't just let him live out naturally, though? Like, was that necessary? You know what I mean? Is it too convoluted to have so many of them live at once, I guess? Or is it just tradition they must follow? All of the above? It's fascinatingly creepy. It's my best description right now. $17 later, okay. So that's the boy, the baby, now 17-year-old. Mm-hmm. So what did they underestimate exactly? I'm assuming they're going to show that now. Maybe they underestimated their survival? Hmm. Oh, that thingy. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So when they scoured the planet, they never noticed that before? Like the Empire? They didn't know that was there before they're like, okay, let's exile these people there. Is that what I'm being led to believe? Oh, that's what I meant. The surveys or whatever. So it's an object that can't be detected from their technology? Oh. Mm-hmm. And you got a baby in there. Oh. The vault. Yes. Okay. Which still makes no sense they would actually live around it. Except for Salvor. They kept away, but they didn't barricade anything around it to protect them kids. Oh, cool. Yeah, time lapse this bitch. So those are her parents. Yeah. Okay. Oh, okay. She's younger here. Whew, I gotta get used to these time jumps. I have a wacky theory why she could be the only one that can go near it, but let me just see here if they're gonna show her experience with it. She's testing to see the effect on that bug. You know what I'm thinking of? If it's a frequency thing. I'll elaborate more on that in my review. This is what, like, Tatooine 5.0. Whoa. So she's working all by herself on this? Like, I know she's the only one that can go near it, but I mean, like, I just find it strange they don't have, like, at least some kind of security perimeter, you know? Okay. Everybody's got a feeling in this show. So her being who? I guess that's the reveal here. Ah, look at that. Harry gets a statue. Yeah, looks like him. Kinda. So her being her mom. It's like there's so much work into this that there's no guarantee none of this would matter or work. It's almost like on a hope. Oh, that's not good. It's like, keep walking until you get a nosebleed, then stop. Hmm. Yeah. Oh. So it's gonna open up. Hugo. Obviously, the kids love Hugo. Man, I am so impressed with the set and everything. It's fantastic. I gotta look out for some behind the scenes featurettes for this show. I'm wondering if they're using the same tech they did for filming The Mandalorian. So that's why they like Hugo. He brings goodies. What are you giving him? I'll take it. Kids are the future. Okay, so they're together? Okay. Or not? Okay. Because I was like, seemed a little weird for a minute there. For a second. Alright. So she's never left? Ever? Well, if it's been a while, after sounds great. Oh my god, it's been so long. Let's go. Well, I'm glad at least they've given her a friend, a special friend. Rounds out her character a little bit more. So that she sense it a lot throughout her days. I do appreciate I think it's a homage, or maybe not, but it's kind of a nod to Grace Jones a bit, her look. Kid? Is it just me, or does it not make sense that she's the only one that patrols around this? How is there not a team of this? I'm gonna chop it up to, like, budget constraints. for not anyway. Whatever, it's weird. He's playing hide and seek. All right, so based on the score right now, and oh, something sounds, yeah. And this is not a simulation. Huh. So the little boy letter here. Something's going to land in their atmosphere? Hmm. $70. Girl, you got yourself a Gramps. Okay, I gotta remember those two names, Anacreons and Thespins. You think? She's the only one doing this. So I'm assuming those ships have been monitoring, obviously, the alien artifact. Is that a good thing or a bad thing? Hmm. Listen, yo, they better not race Skywalker this shit. Otherwise, I'm not watching the rest of the series. I'm serious. Dead serious. Please don't be the one that just suddenly knows it now all of a sudden. Holding my breath there for real, because... Thank you. Thank you. That was a close one. I have no more patience. No more patience for narratives where they have the one person who can do everything and be everything with no flaws, nothing. So despite everything that happened to both peoples, they're still like they still don't like each other. Anacreans and thespians, whatever. Yes, that's what I'm understanding. Okay. Did he know about this artifact? It's like on repeat. I'm wondering if that's a real kid. I mean, the title is The Mathematician's Ghost. So is that kid a ghost somehow? Okay. Okay. Well, that was fun. Okie dokie. So, que piensa, you know? What are you thinking? What are you thinking? All right. Let's start with my takeaways, of course. And a little note of what I was thinking or predicting with what's the deal with Salvor. Am I saying her name right? Why she's the only one that can communicate, or not communicate, but why she's not affected by that vault thingy. I'll get to that in the latter part of my takeaways review of this episode. Okay, so I said in my last reaction video that the end usually is its own takeaway, but I kind of don't want to have that as a repeated pattern, because it's fair to say that at the end of every episode, it'll cliffhang itself to the next thing, right? Okay. I will say what's memorable in this episode, though, is what wasn't shown, and that I was expecting to get more answers on, and that is, what the fuck happened to Harry? What happened to Rach? What happened to Gaal? I'm hoping that will be addressed in the next episode, because to be honest, it's a bit strange that you have that as part of the integral action in episode 2, and then you just barely talk about it in episode 3. And I have to be patient that this is a new series, you know, they're probably working things out as they go, as they've shot the episodes. And it's likely on purpose so that they can touch on many points that's important to know. And that leads me to my second takeaway, and that is the first half of this episode, exploring the Cleon dynasty, the cloning program, Demerzel's role. She was there from the very beginning, presiding over each and every clone, and so, oh my goodness, it's just a headache for a quick second for me to even think of how sad and tragic it was for her, in a sense, to see the repeated behaviors from the same person cloned, you know, one after the other, and for her to feel that loss that they seem to have shown, where it was sad for her to have them leave her, which leads me to think that this particular android, or this type of artificial intelligence in an embodiment like this, as Demerzel, is in tune with understanding the emotions that humans have of grief and sadness and happiness to the degree they understand it, or that they compute for themselves. I don't know any other better way to articulate that, okay? But it's memorable for me, and it's one of the main reasons I'm actually now more interested in this series, aside from the mystery of Salvor and Gaal and Harry. I'm more fascinated with the Cleon dynasty and Demerzel and what role she plays. And I'm thinking to myself, if this is a being that's been around from the very beginning, somewhat stewarding, right, guiding the series of events that happens every generation with each and every Cleon that's brought forth, whether it's dawn, day, or dusk, I'm wondering to what degree Demerzel can perhaps try to manipulate each Cleon to make a certain decision to get a particular outcome so that this empire continues to thrive. And what I mean by that, and I apologize if I don't articulate this properly, it is a challenge for me at times to convey what I'm really thinking. I'm thinking that now that there's an awareness that the empire will likely fall in 500 years, according to Harry's calculations, I'm wondering now if Demerzel will take more active steps to help each Cleon make a certain decision that will fit into a pattern to keep the empire from not falling. Like, go against the grain. Try to not fall into this prediction. If that makes any sense. Or does she even have that kind of influence or power? I'll leave it at that. Now, as for my last takeaway, it's related to my wacky theory about Salvor, which I'm sure will be dispelled in the comment section and perhaps in breakdown videos of a spoiler nature that I'm personally okay with. Personally okay with that. And for you as my viewer, I won't utter it out in expressions if I know more, you know what I mean? So that you can have the experience of watching along with me and what I know will be related to the episode that I'm watching. Okay? So my wacky theory, until further notice, related to my final takeaway is that I think Salvor is able to sense what's happening with that vault based on a frequency that perhaps her mind is at, that no one else has, that this vault or this energy or this presence, which I think is probably sentient, likely, it's on the same wavelength as her pattern. So I'm not going to dive too deep into the science of what I'm trying to talk about, but what I mean is that scene where they showed her as a young girl aware, right? I'm looking at the dialogue that they used that led to this wacky theory of mine. Her father says that she's aware. And awareness, consciousness, it can be measured. And there are frequencies everybody's kind of on. And I'm just wondering if that the frequency of her level of thought is a match to the frequency that is perhaps being exhibited from this vault. Hence why she's the only one that can go near it. Like, she's compatible to this vault. That's the best way I can describe it. And again, I'm very sorry if I can't express this properly, but there's a compatibility between her and this vault. And I think it may have to do with her brainwaves, her frequency. It's just different. And she does bring up the word different a lot, right? She's different, not special. Now, as for my NAP score, to kind of summarize my rating of this episode, so N is for narrative, A is for action, P is for pacing. As for narrative, here are some of the questions that I asked to kind of help me assess this episode with my own grading of things, my own style. First question is, were there details that helped the story move forward? It's like yes and no, right? As I said, they did not really highlight anything to do with what happened in episode 2, so that part of the narrative did not move forward at all. It's kind of at a stalemate. Aside from the fact that I know that Salvor's mom got the cube thingy from Harry's office after his funeral, nothing moved forward on that end of the story. Second question is, was there any new development with at least one character? Yes, there was. We learned a little bit more about Salvor. I learned a lot about Demerzel, the Cleon dynasty, so that's a given. And my last question is, did events in this episode highlight or bring more insight about the previous episodes? I would say that the first half of this episode definitely shed a lot of light about the dynasty, the Cleon dynasty, and what's going on with them. So it is a yes for sure to that question. And then my next point is A for action. Was there too little, just the right amount, or too much? I would definitely checkmark just the right amount of action for this episode. And that leads me to my last point, P for pacing. Was it too slow, steady pacing, too fast? To be honest, at the beginning, I felt the pace was just right. But then it started to slow down to the point where if I wasn't really interested in what was happening on Terminus, I probably would, find a reason to go use the bathroom and take a break if I wasn't recording my reaction. Do you know what I mean? I would pause and then come back. So it wasn't as engaging as I personally would want. So I'm going to give it more on the slow end of pacing. And so with everything I have just mentioned, my official NAP score for this episode is a 3 out of 5. So there you have it. That is my reaction and my key takeaways from episode 3 of Foundation. I hope you've enjoyed this video. I look forward to reading your comments about this episode specifically. And now that I've caught up with all the episodes that have aired thus far, I know the next one will be airing October 8th. And so my reactions will be uploaded to YouTube every Sunday at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. So until then, I'm tuning out. Peace. Thanks for watching. Check out my other videos and subscribe. You know you wanna.